So Mike, this there, I've been in here so many times it's crazy. This is where the shipping room was.
Yep.
They used to come here and load out the door right there.
The little door over there, they shoot them out. They used to shoot them out that little down this middle hallway.
Sure. There used to be a conveyor belt along here going to where they would be loading, and there'd be somebody in here picking sleeves or whatever, put on the belt. They'd go down the belt around the corner and they'd go into the semi and they'd stack the stuff by hand. Those are pick orders. There used to be a conveyor belt that came up from the basement cooler, and for a while they were packing stuff on pallets here. We used to load out of here's an ankle door over here. We used to back semi-trailers up here, and that's where they were loading their stuff. Mostly by pick. They couldn't get a pallet in here to maneuver it. So after they started palletizing stuff, they went in the cooler and they do some picks, some pallets. I remember one time being in here, they had drumsticks stacked on that north wall over there. They were 3 pallets high, leaning up to the side. I can't imagine how bad the bottom pallet was smashed. You can see the angle in the wall there. That's where they were loading when I started. And it was right about here where they had a decline. They could back trailers down, and they could get 2 trailers at a time. This is like the barn up here. They refinished. Let's go inside. There were 7 stalls along here. Okay. And as far south one is where they had the horses at.
Oh, over here.
Yeah, right in here. Used to be a coal-fired boiler at the far end, and there were a couple radiators to help keep the horses warm in the winter. They put a regular pallet, a finished product on these, and then pick up the whole thing and put it in the bays.
It has a wall down the other end of the building.
It has like galvanized metal here on the bottom that helps run on the tracks. This is the door they used to run milk cans into, full milk cans. They had a conveyor system that would take them in. They'd have a couple guys in there inspect them, make sure the milk was okay, and then dump them. Had some kind of a can washer, and then they'd come back out. There was also a break room in here later on. That's the door we used to walk in to go to work. There used to be a fiberglass chill tunnel that they had the cones going through.
Okay.
Used to end it out there. When Jerry Rowe worked for Brooks Laundry, okay, Jerry Brooks, he'd bring our clean laundry back, where this bench, and there were wooden lockers over here. The people in the lab would put it away. We going up to the 3rd floor, Mike?
Yeah, you go here or then go ahead.
When I worked here, this was all storage, cartons and wrap, and anything that went into the production stuff.
This here's clear full of boxes.
What?
We hauled so many boxes out of here to the recycling center. They quit bringing them.
Good.
We got clearly sealed full of boxes.
Yeah, this place was just pallets just jammed together.
Yep.
It was full. This was the dryer over here. This is where they dried milk. And then there's that wood frame structure that was above here. That had something to do with dryer wood too. I don't know what. It was before my time. They used to have something hanging down there, suspended somehow. I don't know how they dried milk, Roger. I don't know how the process worked. But that was one of them. They had some kind of tank or something hanging down there. Another big one over there.
What weren't they producing that they produced before? Did they get into the cheese type?
No.
Okay.
It was just
all
ice cream, all novelty type ice cream. Sandwiches, drumsticks, push-ups, Eskimo pies, just things like that.
Yeah.
This was all gone.
Yeah.
There was a stainless steel liquid sugar tank here. Okay. They used that until the price of sugar went up in the mid-70s, and they started just buying granular sugar. This is the cornstarch tank. they had to keep it warm so it would flow easily. Whole cornstarch doesn't flow very well. They parked a tanker down there on 3rd Street, and they had a coupling going through the wall and pump it up.
And then throw away, I had the whistle. Remember they used to blow a whistle at 8 and at 3 or 4?
When I was there.
There's a whistle up on one of these stacks coming up. Steam came out, and the freaking whistle. You know, the big noon whistles you always used to hear in the factory? I had it here, but I think they went to throw it away. It's a saved for years. The pipe came out like this. At the top, and then we had it was all cast iron, it had a ring on it. Air would tromp, tromp, whistle.
There were two 1,500-gallon vats here, and there was another 1,500-gallon vat here. There was a 1,000-gallon vat here. This was M1, and the other one was M2. They drained out on the first floor.
They filled.
Couldn't fill with ice cream mix.
Okay.
There was another 1,000-gallon vat. Right here, you can see where the legs were. And then over here, this was M3. This was suspended on high steel poles. I think it held about 500 gallons. They used to haul in whatever pallets they needed to build the mix. Were these vats still in here when we came?
No, there was a pasteurizer, a big, huge water softener. That was about it.
Was the press back here? Big stainless steel, looked like a big radiator?
Yeah, it all squished together.
Yeah.
It's laid out in an alley, yeah.
Okay, that's the press. So there was a 500-gallon pasteurizing vat here. There were a couple more over here. There was one here and one here. Now, homogenizer sat right here. That was so old and decrepit that nobody apparently wanted that. Right in here, you used to have to run your mix pipes out that hole in the wall to go to wherever you're going. And this is the cake roll cutter, the manual one. Used to bring your cake and ice cream tray, put it on here, roll it up, roll it into this trough, and this would go through 3 blades, and it would cut the cakes into four pieces. They're like serrated stainless steel blades, and they must have disappeared.
Took them off when they cleaned it or something?
Yeah, but
I never told you what that was.
this is the old manual cake cutter. You guys had
I'm
it.
talking about the, like, bread with ice cream between them that rolled up, looked like a
Yeah,
cinnamon roll.
it was chocolate cake with vanilla ice cream in it.
Really?
This was the manual one. This is the one they had when I started. And then they got one, all you had to do was push a button, and there was an air cylinder over here, and it would pop through the blades, and there you go. Are the lockers still here, Mike? They're gone, aren't they? My locker was down at this end about yay high. But this was the men's locker room. The milk bottle washing machine was somewhere in here. Bill made the comment that that hole in the wall isn't just a hole in the wall. He said that's where the clean bottles used to go into the filling room. Used to be a cooler door here. Now they knocked the wall down so you can't see it, but it was just a regular square cooler door. They open it up and they'd run their crates of milk into the cold room. You can see the footmark of the cold room. See how big it was. He said every day they'd run milk, they'd fill this thing from floor to ceiling, from wall to wall. They ended up having Bob's flavoring on some wood racks that was over here. They put the toppings for the form seal was in here. I think maybe the Heath topping for the graham was in here. Things they'd have to keep cold, but they didn't want to freeze. This is the door that comes up and downstairs on the north end of the building. This was the mix room office. This is where they figured out how much or whatever they needed to put in the mixes. Randy Kaiser was our last mix man. His desk was over here. You can see lids where they put little nuts and bolts in them. Screw them in there. They take baby food jars, put the lids on here, and put whatever in, and then screw it up there. This was just full of that stuff. It never really dawned on me, but they store their milk bottles and crates up in that cold room. All that stuff would have came back out here would have been loaded by hand coming through here. That's amazing. I have a half pint that has really good Rosedale print on it.
There's a lot of them floating around. People bring them into me all the time.
That one's chipped, it looks like.
Not marked though, is it?
No.
Not marked.
Our time clock used to be back where Meg's standing. No, right there on the wall, right in front of you, kiddo. You're punching in right now. Yeah. This was the lavatory. Back there in this corner, we used to have an incubator. They'd take the samples, two plates. One was for E. coli, the other one was a standard plate for other types of bacteria. They had a refrigerator over here. That's probably the refrigerator. They had a sterilizer kind of right about where the center of that table is. That raised in the floor there, that was the base of the cone chill tunnel. The filler and the machinery was way up above. People had to stand on these aluminum stands to get to them. After they went through the chill tunnel, they dipped in chocolate, dipped in peanuts, and they fell out into a wrapper. They made eight in every row. Came out to the end of the wrapper, and right about in here, there was a wide conveyor belt. They would take the cones. The conveyor belt stopped right about in here. And there was an Anderson boxer. Somebody would stand here boxing, putting cones in boxes. The machine would make the boxes. The man would be filled. The machine would close the box. And it went to a large compression chamber and stopped right about here. Now originally, when I started, there was a hole cut in the floor here, and there was a big turntable, okay? And there was a conveyor belt going downstairs to the overwrap, okay? So they got cone boxes coming here, they got stick boxes for the stickless over here, and they were going downstairs. Later on, they plugged up the hole, and there was a inclined conveyor belt and a roller bed going over to where the overwraps were. This picture's in William Doan's book of Days, and it shows a Christmas party that they had back in the 20s. You can stand over here, and in between these two columns, there was a wall with a walk-in door there. That north window was a lot smaller. There used to be the old wood double-hung windows, and this is where they had their Christmas parties at. I used to keep my toolbox in here.
No kidding.
Locked up. I put my toolbox in here and locked the thing up and
Nobody'd steal all your
safe.
stuff.
This is something they missed. These are the bottoms for the form steel mold. There was the machine over there.
I ran along the whole, that big long thing.
No, along there's a wall over here. It started out with a 10-inch sheet of plastic. It would heat it up. You'd go into a mold. It'd blow the plastic down into the mold and make a cup. Now we made 3, 4, and 6 ounce cups on it. They could make 5 ounce, but Loomis couldn't find a market for them.